Hi everybody, and a very warm welcome back to the channel. Now in this video, and I do hope that it's not going to be a long one, but I want to take a dive into painting surfaces that you can use when you're learning to paint in oils. Now what do I mean by that exactly? Well, we all know that there are canvases and canvas products and canvas covered boards, all the way down to things like Masonite and MDF panels that you can prepare. Now the first two that I mentioned, canvas and canvas boards, can rack up quite a bill over a period of time, especially when you're starting out, especially when you're trying to learn. And the essence is learning and practicing. And the key to that is trying to save a little bit of money on the products that you're using, and also the ability to store the end result over a long period of time. If we think about a canvas, which is normally about 3/4 of an inch deep, you don't get very many of those saved on a shelf, and the cost of doing that will be quite a large amount. So what I want to show you in this video is maybe a few shortcuts to using cheaper surfaces that you can use easily without too much trouble and won't break the bank. And you can then just keep practice. And that, at the end of the day, is key to learning how to do anything, much less oil painting. So what do I mean by using other substrates? Well, let's say we take out canvas and we take out canvas covered boards. Then you have MDF or Masonite. Now that will be probably the least way you want to go if you want to maybe do artwork that you can sell, put in a frame and sell to other people. It's rigid enough to take that without needing glass in the frame, and that's fine. But you still have a bit of prep to do with that. You've got to go and find the required board. Yes, a lot of timber places and picture frame suppliers will sell pre-packed amounts, especially things like A4. You know, a lot of framers use that backing MDF to put into the back of certificate frames and things like that. So a lot of framing companies will have that on tap in packs of 25 or 50 or whatever it is. You can buy those. You haven't got to cut them. You don't hurt your wrist by trying to cut through MDF, and it's an easy deal. So that's probably the cheapest way of a rigid surface, but you still have to treat that surface. You still have to use one of the things that I'm going to talk about in this quick video. I keep saying quick, I hope it is, but one of those things you're going to have to use to prepare it. And most generally we all use a proprietary white gesso from many manufacturers that gives it 2 or 3 coats, a little sand down, and you have a board ready to go. The reason that you need that essentially is to create a barrier between the wood and the oil, which is extremely corrosive over time. So you create that lovely barrier, and it also gives you a lovely surface in which to paint on. So that's one. Now the second thing is what's left. Well, we've got paper and paper stock. Now cartridge paper and other paper, thin papers like that, can be very, very flexible and therefore not suitable to take heavy oil applications. So if you're going to start painting in a palette knife style, then that really won't do the job for you, because it will crack and it will cause a problem. However, when you're learning, then it can be very valuable because it's a cheap resource, and as long as you prepare it in the right way, then you can use it to practice on to your heart's content. And if at the end of each session you throw it in the trash, does it matter? You've had that experience of learning, and that's what's most important. So when you come to using paper, you've got cartridge paper. I have a lot of old watercolor paper. Some of it is no longer viable to do watercolor on because the surface emulsion has decayed and gone, and it becomes a bit more like blotting paper. So anything like that you've got, and that will be fine, even to the point of something like this, where I've got an old watercolor painting. Nothing wrong with the paper at all. I could possibly have used the back to do a new watercolor. I chose not to because there was damage to it. But instead of just throwing this in the bin, I can prepare that surface and I can then do an oil painting on it. I can use things like mount board, a picture framer's mount board. Now, if you know a picture framer, then ask that person, would they be able to spare you some offcuts? Now, I am a picture framer in my gallery, and I've got staff that do the picture framing for me. But the point is that we create an awful lot of offcuts, an awful lot of wastage from our mount cutting processes. So if somebody came up and said, oh, can I have some of your offcuts? I'd be delighted. You're doing me a favor. And I'm sure that would be the case for so many other people out there. So approach one and see if you can't get yourself some offcuts. They may be all sorts of different sizes, but does that matter? You're learning. And if you prepare that board properly and use the back, it doesn't matter what color it is, but just turn it over and use the back of it, and then prepare that surface, and you've got a rigid substrate. And if you do a real great piece of painting that you want to show other people, maybe put in a frame and sell, then that board is quite rigid enough not to need glass and mounts. I would, but you don't have to. And it's a little bit like using a bit of Masonite, and properly protected, it will do very, very well. Just give it a lovely finish of some sort of varnish at the end of it, and you're good to go. The thing is that it doesn't have to be a very expensive process. Paper or canvas paper is another option. Canvas paper, again, from proprietary people, can be bought in A3 pads or larger if you want to. They aren't cheap to buy, but you can actually cut those down and use them in much smaller sizes to practice on. So the deal is not so bad, and at the same time it's already prepared to accept your oil color, so you don't even have to get involved with that. But if you are, just popping back to paper for a second, there are several ways to prepare paper to accept oils. Now, if you just use oil straight on paper, then the oil within that paint will leach out and cause an awful mess and leave just pigment on top, which won't properly or ever set properly, and it's just horrible. So that's a no-no, but you need to just prepare it. Now, you can use gesso. You can use a proprietary gesso. You can paint your paper. If you're using cartridge paper or watercolor paper, I do suggest taping it down, because obviously it will want to curl with the amount of water inside the gesso. So tape it down and put the gesso on, and then let it dry, and then take it off, and you can start painting on it. You can also use something like one of these. Now, these are this is knotting and this is button polish, but basically they are shellacked. I'm just getting very old, sorry, and very senile. But yeah, shellac basically. Now, it's sometimes a little bit of a controversial product, but I don't think it's, I use it quite a bit, and I think that it is a very versatile product. What it does is a bit like a varnish and a sealer. So you can put it on any substrate. This is a piece of old watercolor paper. You can see how it soaks in and soaks through. But now I have got a surface here that I can paint on with oils, and it will not leach anywhere. This is an old piece of art board. This is an old watercolor board that I've had for about 30 years. The emulsion's gone from it, but instead of throwing it away, well, I actually cut, this is an offcut, but I actually cut little panels out, such as this one, like that, and that's untreated. And this is another one that has been shellacked, and that is all ready to oil paint on. This one, if I was to oil paint on this, as I've already said, it would cause me a problem. But if you don't want to use shellac, if you don't have any acrylic gesso, then use the flat side of a wax candle. It's not the best, but it will do everything you want it to. Just give your whole thing, and make sure you're very thorough with it, but just give it a thorough surface, like so. Now, the one caveat to this is do not do this on heavily textured paper, because it will slide over the top, leaving little valleys in the paper untouched by the wax, and therefore potentially messing up any oil application. But once you've done this, it's great. Now, I have been caught out several times in the past. You can see how many times I've dug around with this old piece of candle, and this has lasted, I don't know, I've probably had this about 20 odd years, 30 years. But when you need it, it's there. Just give it a little bit of a wax treatment on your paper, cartridge, or other smooth surfaces, and that now will resist the oil paint and allow it to be applied on there and used. Now, I've got a piece here from another video that I was doing recently, and this is just testing out some blues. I think that video should already be out for you, but this was painted on just a wax surface, just allowing me to do a very, very quick study on here, and that's fine. Now, that's been done for a little while. It hasn't leached anywhere. In fact, I can now rub most of that off. You can see where it's got into the paper a little bit, but it's fine. And if I want to go over this and paint something else on there, I now can. So I think what I'm trying to say is that when you're learning any new medium, whether it be watercolor, pastel, or anything at all, and in this case we're talking about oil painting, I think that the ability to create not necessarily high art, but to practice little bits, color mixing, swatching. If I mix this color with this color, what's going to happen? If I mix white with this color, what's going to happen? Starting to practice more and more and more, where the outcome is not as important as the doing, then I think using cheaper substrates to do it on, where you can just bin the outcome happily without worrying about it, I think that's essential. And I think that to avoid racking up a huge bill when you're learning, I mean, we all know that the brushes, the paint are expensive enough at times, depending on the colors you use. If we can rule out the need to spend a lot of money on the surfaces that we paint on whilst we're practicing, then I think that's a win. And I think you've got to take that as a positive and go ahead and do that. Later on, as your practice turns into the fruition that you want it to be, and you're starting to develop and you're starting to create the paintings that you always dreamed of making, then you can start up in the game and you can buy panels, canvas panels, and even canvases. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't buy them to start with. That's not what this is about. This is trying to literally save money by giving you a cheaper option to paint with or on, that you don't have to sort of think, well, I can't afford that because that canvas is $10, $20, that canvas panel is like $5 each, and I can't afford to keep playing around and throwing those away. But this is a great way to get into it, a great way of learning without breaking the bank, as I've said already. And then you can, if you want to do a painting in the meantime, if you think you've learned enough to do a little bit of painting, go for a canvas, go for a canvas panel and enjoy it. But all the hard work, the nitty-gritty work, has been done already on cheap pieces of this and that you can then throw away and not have to worry about keeping or conserving. So that's what this video was about. I hope you've got something from it. I hope that if I sort of touched the nerve or given you an idea, fantastic, that's what it was about. And that's probably gone on a lot longer than I thought it would be, but there you go. I needed to cover a few things. I think I've done that. And if you've enjoyed it and you think that I've earned your subscription, then please subscribe to the channel. It always helps. That's fantastic. Add comments, add your thoughts. If you use any of these methods already, let me know. I'd love to hear your story about your methods to have cheaper surfaces and what you might employ to prepare them. That would be fantastic, and it will help everyone else watching this video. And if you want even more from me, don't forget, please, I got a school, and there is a free version, there is a paid version where you got an awful lot more. Check them out. All the details are in the show more tab under this video. And if you want to help this channel out a little bit, you can support me by buying me a coffee, or indeed adding a super chat. All of the money that I get from those sources go into making more videos just like this one that everybody can learn from and enjoy and get something from in the future. So in the meantime, I'm gonna say cheerio, and I'm gonna get prepared to do another video. In fact, I need to get a bit of painting done. So I'll catch you all in the next one. Stay safe, happy painting, enjoy yourselves. Take care, bye-bye.